Now, Rick, the new series drops this week. It's called WWE Evil.
Evil.
And it profiles some of the great heels in the wrestling business. Let's assume you're the best heel ever, which I think is true. Who's right there with you? Who are 1, 2, 3 names that you think stand alongside you as the best heels ever?
Well, I got to start with Roddy Piper. There was a period of time when Roddy was hot as anybody in the business. And he was entertaining, but he wasn't afraid of heat. He got it. You know what I mean? It's hard to say. I mean, it's being a heel now, and it's a whole different time because it's just I don't think the guys have the freedom to be a heel. Does that make sense? That we used to have. I think just conduct wise, and I guess if I was considered great, what made me great was the fact that everything I said I did. But I mean, of that group of people right there, I mean, Randy's a hell of a heel. Roman's a hell of a heel right now. I mean, they're all very good. You know who I think they're going to be amazed whether I think going to really have a great. I'm dying to see it because I'm a big fan of Stephanie McMahon.
The episode on Stephanie, right?
Yeah, she is a badass, man. I mean, I love her in that character. I loved her with the Authority, but anytime you go back to the feuds with her, like Vicky Guerrero or just different people over the years, she could be badass. She's her dad. Her dad is a hell of a heel. Good Lord.
Who's the better heel, Vince or Stephanie?
Oh, just because he's meaner, you got to go with Vince. But
it's close.
Yeah, but Stephanie could, man, she could turn it on. I mean, I used to text her all the time. Like, your shit's too good. Yeah.
Well, Nate, you brought up a good point a moment ago where you said that it's a different environment to be a heel today than it was in your era. Back in your era, a heel could go over the top. He could occasionally go what would now be considered too far. Whereas today, the heels try to sell merchandise. And boy, that's a big difference.
It's not only sell merchandise, but they're forced to get along with the public. They're forced because of social media to be nice. That was not the case in my day.
No, I was witness to that on more than one occasion. We'll get to that in a second. But
we all shake hands in bars now in the old days. Not so much.
No, not so much. And
Hit
actually,
the road. Tell your story walking.
What are you talking about? I've seen you do that relatively recently.
Well, only late at night.
But, it's funny. Great minds must think alike, because the first name that comes to mind for me for all-time great heels besides Ric Flair is Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
And that especially goes for his first heel run in WWE. When he got there,
yep,
they had never seen anything like him, I don't think.
No. Yeah, entertainment. And Roddy was out there, but he was always thinking. He put a lot of thought into his work, and he thought a lot about what he wanted to do. And I'm pretty secure in saying that he argued with Vince every day. I feel pretty secure with that comment.
Yeah, but boy, what a heel, what a career.
Yeah.
I miss Roddy every day, I know.
So do we, all do.
Yeah. And some heels are so good, Nate, they become cheered. That's happened to you. Is that good or bad? And how do you avoid that?
Well, it's good because they're cheering you out of respect because you're so good. Sometimes you just exhaust them by being so good. Randy Orton when they're letting him just be Randy Orton was a pretty badass heel.
Well, he reminds me of you, Rick, is whenever you started to get cheered, you always found a way to do something to bring him back the other way. And I think Randy does that too all the time.
Yeah. But he's a tweener now. So, he's halfway caught up in the entertainment role. But when
I
the
hate
vi-
Nate.
when the Viper is being the Viper, he's as good as anybody.
Nate, I hate that tweener stuff. I know you do too.
Yeah, I'm old school, but I mean, doesn't mean I don't respect the people that are in that position. I just, uh, I'll tell you who else could be a hell of a heel with Shawn Michaels.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Shawn was great.
Now, what's most important when it comes to being a good heel? Work or promos?
Both.
Okay,
Both. You got to be able to do both.
uh, neither more important than the other. Then,
No,
yeah.
obviously I think the work is important, but man, you got to be able to piss them off talking to them.
Oh no, no question. I would have said promos, but one point about the work is I see some guys doing heel promos, but not really working as heels, and it dilutes their attempt.
Absolutely. I can name no sense naming them, but it's a fact. You've got to stay in that character for in public, wherever you go. I mean, just that. See, as much as we traveled back then, and as visible as we were, people saw us every day, and obviously, for a child or a good-looking chick, it would be nice, but
Actually, I've seen you with kids where it didn't go so great either, but yeah.
I tell you what upsets me is when parents bring their kids out at 2:00 in the morning,
Yep.
and use them as an example. Hey,
No,
will you sign my son? It's 2 a.m. Put your children to bed. Come on.
right,
I have lost it a couple of times over that.
and I don't like it, and I've been with you when this happened. I just don't like it when parents bring kids into a bar. Like, not a restaurant, but a bar.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's too much. Now, you've touched on this before, but working as a heel and as a babyface is completely different, or at least it should be. How much did your work change from heel to babyface?
Well, I was very limited. I didn't have the skill level to be a good babyface. That's history. That's the truth. I mean, I was a really, really good heel because it didn't require a lot of stuff. I can do a lot of stuff to guys that I just had I think most of my heat came from talking, but I could also perform at a high level. But it's not because I had 18,000 moves. I wasn't as technically gifted as a guy like Brett but I could talk. I mean, I got so much heat before I got the ring just talking to the marks.
Now, and don't take this the wrong way, Rick. Let me just give an evaluation.
Yeah, but
I thought where your work didn't lend itself to being a good babyface, you didn't have a lot of moves that blew off a comeback very well.
Exactly.
With the babyface, the comeback's everything, isn't it?
Everything.
Wow, everything. I know more than I thought, I guess.
No, it's everything because, well, the comeback, you want to know what my boss, I could never find a heel to work with me the way I worked with them.
Well, I mean, that's asking a lot.
I've been saying that for years. I could never find a heel to work with me the way I worked with him, except maybe a Hunter.
Did he come the closest?
Yeah, Hunter always said me great. I told Randy, but I have to remember, I'm 40 years older than Randy, 32 years older than Randy, or 33, and 20 years older than Hunter. So I wasn't in that position. It's like when Roddy and I worked. We both wanted to be the heel. We never had good matches. We had average matches, but it just.
Well, that's a good point. When you came to WWE, your first feud was with Roddy.
Yeah, it stunk.
Well, it didn't stink. The promos were great.
Well, the promo was when he was a babyface,
right,
wanted to work like a heel,
and he just didn't prefer it, and you could tell.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, obviously, you preferred working as a heel because your style was better equipped, but mentally, you preferred being a heel, right? It's more fun.
Absolutely.
What makes it more fun?
For me, it's making the audience mad, making people believe you're really hurting somebody. Which happens sometimes anyway, but you've got to be able to be me. You got to just turn your wheel in a different direction and just ignore. You almost got to make it real. especially with the interaction with the referee and that. I mean, if you're really that mad, 180-pound referee's not going to push you around like a flyweight. You know what I mean? And I always struggle with that. I would tell the referee, fight me. I mean, I'm not going to resist you, but make it look like you're fighting me. Pull my hair to get me off of it. You know what I mean? Anything. You have to make it look real.
I'll tell you what, though.
A referee's a very important part of the match.
Oh, no question. And Tommy Young and you, it was like you were dancing out there. And sometimes when you bumped for him, it was one of the biggest pops of the night.
Exactly. Yep. People didn't like that, but, you're out there for an hour, man. You're out there to entertain, and I didn't want anybody to have a minute off.
Oh, I think when you guys would push each other and you'd bump for Tommy, I mean, you did that in some of your most famous matches, like the Steamboat matches, and it took the roof off.
Well, I would do it after Steamboat had to figure for me.
Right.
So it's logical that Tommy, anybody could push me. My legs are weak, if they're hurt. It was logical. A lot of people didn't see it like that, but you've had to figure four on you for a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and you pull yourself up in the rope when you turn around and push the referee out of frustration, and he pushes you to take a bump. Anybody can push forward if you know how to work. You know how to work.
How does the booker know when it's time to turn somebody, and can you be turned too often? I can think of a few people that have gone back and forth too frequently.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely be turned too often. And you only get, only the real good ones can pull it off over a period of time.
How does the booker know when it's time?
Well, the booker knows when it's time, sometimes out of necessity because there's an injury on the other side, or maybe just you end up realizing you're just fighting. You're fighting the crowd, you're fighting the reaction, you're dealing with just someone. It just needs to be working the other direction or working the other way.
Is there any heel who never worked babyface? I know Steamboat never worked heel, but can you think of anybody who never worked babyface ever?
No.
Did Ole ever work babyface?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't remember.
Yeah, I bet we were not really babyface, but yeah, the Andersons never worked babyface. Ole and Jane, no, they did not.
But I think Ole might have as a single at some. Oh wait, no, hold it. What am I thinking about? When the Horseman turned on Ole and kicked him out, he was kind of a babyface for a short time, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess he was.
So nobody cared.
Yeah, he's more limited. Ole was more limited than I was. No, seriously, his shoulders were bad. He had a hard time. He had a hard time punching. I'm talking about because of physical injuries.
Now, did consistently being a heel ever take its toll mentally? Was there ever a time you tired of all the abuse and all the heat and outside the ring, especially back in the NWA days?
Never.
You loved it.
Loved it.
Why'd you love it? Go talk about that.
Bad, 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 bad boys that make us feel so good. Did Bobby Pro ever want to be a babyface?
No, and he never was.
Yeah, but after a while he was, because of how good he was. You know what I mean?
He was always a babyface in Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah. But I'm saying on the road, but it was just, some guys have got that switch. And it's the same way it almost the same way in all sports. Some guys that just are pricks. And if that makes him a heel, makes him a heel.
Yeah, but I know what you mean, but you were a great guy outside the ring, and to my experience, and Bobby Probert was a great guy off the ring.
Yes, yeah. I know, no, but I'm just saying it. But, at the same time, the era dictated your conduct, the way you could read it, interact with the fans. I liked it when it was a fight to get back and forth to the ring. That's when you knew you had heat. When the people are trying to touch you, reach out, even if it was to try and whack you, it's a lot more exciting.
Oh, no question. One of the earliest examples I can remember that was when I was literally a kid in age, and Zbyszko turned on Bruno up here in WWF, the old territory.
Yes.
And I remember I went to the match where Zbyszko fought Bruno the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And literally it took him 10 minutes to get to and from the ring.
Larry.
Yeah, Larry. It was
Wow.
unbelievable how much they hated him. It was just, it
Huh.
was great, but it was unbelievable. And to be honest, he was a young guy then. And
Yeah.
you could tell looking for him. I mean, he handled it well, and it was the biggest break of his career.
Yeah.
But initially it was maybe more than he bargained for, you know?
Yeah. I didn't get to see any of it, but I know it was heated.
Now, you know who was an amazing heel is Bob Backlund. For a guy who never worked as a heel for years and years and years and years, and suddenly he came back, went heel, he was tremendous.
God, I don't remember that. With WWE?
Yeah, remember he came back in the suit and he beat Brett for the title when Owen threw the towel in.
I never saw any of that. I missed all that.
Yeah, he was incredible, and he was just this white bread baby face. You had a match with him. That was a world champion versus Backlund, world champion versus world champion,
I
right?
had two of them, yeah.
How were those? What kind of a worker was he with you?
I was okay. The matches weren't very good. Then and the lads that they had no idea who Bob Backlund was.
And it's tough when everybody knows it's not gonna be a decisive finish, right?
Exactly.
Now, I want to talk about some of the other heels profile in this series. One episode's about when Hogan turned and joined and formed really the NWO. I wasn't sure he wanted to do it, but boy, it worked out pretty good.
No, I absolutely did. Yeah.
Were you surprised he did it?
No, I think it was time for a change for him. And he'd kind of he'd run out of opponents. You know, I mean, I could only wrestle him so many times. So, yeah, I think it worked out great for him. And I think that he really enjoyed that run. I know that Kevin and Scott, I wish they would have just kept it to the three of them, which I like Walkman too. I wish it would have just kept it to the four of them.
Right.
But, you know, when the three of them and the four were together, they were great.
I think the most sense the NWO ever made was those four guys plus Ted DiBiase as the manager, as the owner. It really did look like the invading army then.
Yeah, exactly.
Although you mentioned last week when we talked about Scott Hall's passing, I mean, Kevin Scott, I mean, not knocking Hogan, but Kevin Scott, they got the most heat initially and maybe the most heat period.
I think so too. I agree. Holt was the frosting on top of the cake.
Let's say he stays babyface and feuds with the NWO at that point, or maybe he turns back babyface later and feuds with the NWO. How would that have worked?
Well, I don't think it would have been fair to the NWO to Scott and Kevin to be, because they wouldn't have beat Holt as a babyface. That makes sense.
That's right. That's right.
It would have been the end of a run. So it was better off to keep them heels. They were really over as heels.
Now the Miz is featured, and he's a great heel, and it seems like that's who he really is. I've met him, I've interviewed him, and boy, his real life persona is not far from what he is on TV.
I just totally disagree.
Really?
Mike is the nicest kid in the world.
No, you see, you're misinterpreting. When I've interviewed him, I've enjoyed it, but just his nature, his cockiness, his projection is very similar.
I guess, yeah. I don't think of him as being a mean guy. I just think of him as being a very talented guy that puts as much time and thought into his work as anybody I've ever seen.
Do you think he's a great heel?
I think he's a great talent.
So you don't think he's a hardcore heel? Well, then again, that's the difference in the eras, I suppose.
I think he's a great talent that's had an amazing career. But there's just little things that he does, and these little things, he's such a nice guy that I don't think he's capable of feeling inside what it's like to really want to beat the crap out of somebody. You mean, look at Roddy Piper and Jimmy Snuka. I mean, you see what I'm saying? And they didn't have the best match in the world, but it really looked like Piper was Snuka. Yeah, Mike has just had a great, Miz has just had a fabulous career. But, and he will always be considered a great entertainer, but both ways. I mean, he has the capability of being equally good on both sides of it.
Now, they also profiled Sasha Banks. I see her as a babyface and your daughter, Charlotte, as a heel. Not that Sasha isn't a good heel, but to me, that's the dream matchup.
No, guy has been forever. Steamboat and Flair.
But is Sasha a better heel or a babyface?
Well, I like you. I like her the babyface, but she's a damn good heel too, boy. Yeah, you remember it. Sasha, yeah, could really, look at the people. They look at me and stick it up your ass, everybody. I'm that hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm that good. And she can carry. She has that air about her that makes her just fantastic. She can. The nice thing about her, she can go either way, as can Charlotte.
You know, it strikes me.
Charlotte beats being a babyface.
Yeah,
once you've been a heel, it's hard to go back. And where Charlotte has just really, really found herself now. I gotta hope they leave her alone for a while.
Yeah, me too. And it strikes me, Nate, that maybe we like Sasha better as a babyface because it matches up so well with Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean they've had phenomenal match, guys. You know, people forget too fast some of the matches they've had. It's been amazing. Sasha Banks can really go.
No question. No question. Now, we talked about Randy Orton a bit before, and I think his work as a heel is incredible. His timing is just...
There's Randy Orton. There's the Viper.
Yeah, that look, right? That look.
Best physique, 6'4", 250, that look. And when they let that character, which they haven't seen it in a while, work, that guy is the best.
Well, his heel timing is tremendous too. He knows just what to do, when to do it, when to say it. And you know, there's some stuff that's been booked for him, and I know he has great input on what he does. Like when he punted you in the head, that just took him way over the top as a heel again. Every time you think he can't go further, he does, and I think that's a big part of being a great heel.
Yeah. I know it also ended my career.
Well, no. No, hold it. That was when you came back. Your career had already been over. You were with
And screw him and Edge and that concerto shit. You know what's a really hot heel right now? Is Edge.
No question.
No shit. Edge is on fire right now. He's not featured in this documentary, but you think of Edge as being this nice, quiet guy that could be either way, right? But his interviews have been intense, and he's hot as shit right now. I know we're talking about Evil, but he will be. He's already great. He's just getting greater.
Well, now, isn't that match kind of heel versus heel with him and AJ?
No.
I mean, I guess they've turned AJ, but I still think, I mean, it's been a short time, relatively speaking.
AJ is one of the greatest baby faces that ever worked.
I think he's a better baby face than a heel, and I think he's a great heel, too.
I just said it. He's a real good heel, but he's one of the greatest baby faces of all time.
What makes him that?
Skill. He's loaded with skill.
Yeah, he really is.
And he can, when he wants to be soft and mellow, portray himself, we can, figure it out about, which he really is in real life, a very humble guy. He's very likable.
Well, like, hearkening back to something you said a bit ago, Nate, AJ really has that babyface arsenal with his work, doesn't he?
Oh, my God. He can do anything. Anything.
Well, and his comebacks are unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he can do anything. He reminds me of me in my heyday.
I don't know about that, but he's real good. He's real good.
I wish if I could have just drop kick anything.
Now, hold it. You never tried a drop kick? I think you did it once, right?
Oh, I know when I could run to the guy and jump and hit him, but I couldn't stand there flat-footed and drop kick anybody except in the knee.
And finally, they talk about Roman Reigns in the Evil documentary, who I thought should have been turned heel before he was, but once it happened, it hit really big.
Yeah, he's got Roman. There's three things that people hate. They hate arrogance. They hate guys that are so damn good looking that they can be as arrogant as they want. And then when you have a skill that Roman does, you're really going to piss people off.
And obviously,
he pisses the guys off in the locker room.
Does he really? How so?
No, I mean, I'd be facetious, but, you Where guys like Roman Reigns come around once, God, I can't think of the last time they had a guy as good looking as Roman. Me.
Right.
Yeah, he's as handsome as I was 35 years ago.
Now you see, I think that's a legitimate comparison. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and and too, though, he doesn't have a lot of big arsenals of babyface either. So he's better as a heel. I love him as a heel. The longer they let him rumble like that, I mean, he's gold.
Well, I thought it was good they've put Heyman with them. I'm not sure he needs Heyman anymore, but I think Heyman was a great ignition for him being a heel, and obviously still an important part of the act.
Absolutely. I think Paul does a great job with him. Yeah, Heyman's that whole heel. You know, Heyman's like, Heyman's got the kind of heat Bobby Heenan would get, but he doesn't wrestle.
Yeah, and he barely bumps, but boy, he's something. I think he's great.
Yeah, he is great.
What? You think Heenan's number one?
You hear that, Paul? You owe me, buddy. Tired of telling everybody how good you are. Interview-wise, Paul, you're still number 2.
Behind Bobby?
No.
Oh, right. I thought you meant, well, you know what? Being number 2 for promos behind Ric Flair ain't a bad place to be.
Well, that's just my opinion.
No, that's fact. That's not opinion. But is Bobby still the Bobby still the number 1 manager for Heat?
Oh God, Bobby Heenan, yes. Yeah, only because he could work. Cornette was really good too, but Jim didn't work. But Cornette could give up, and he too. Yeah, but Bobby Heenan, because he could incorporate his work, which was fantastic. Bobby Heenan was a great worker. People forget about that.
Now, I want to talk about The Rock real quick, because when The Rock started out, he was a babyface, but he was a hated babyface. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it was weird that a guy who started out with the fans totally rejecting him became arguably the biggest star ever.
No, I don't think it's even argued. I mean, basically the biggest star and cross-demographic appeal in the world and everything.
Was it, I mean, it turned out to not be tough for him to recover from that, but that was a rocky beginning, no pun intended.
Yeah, I didn't know him that well back then. I mean, I knew him from, working with his dad. I actually met him when he was like 12 years old. I've got that picture right here. No, but he liked, I could tell he liked the bling and all that too. So he was a little bit conflicted on which way to go, but he found his groove, and when he did, God, unbelievable.
Rick, this Evil series, I'm really looking forward to it. The clips I've seen, the
Me
stuff
too.
about you, it looks like a very, WWE's always done good series like this, but this seems like it might be even a step above.
Yeah, to me, I've always seen a little bit of it, but I'm dying to see it. That's when this is an opportunity, again, for me, and I'm thankful for the WWE for that moment, for the opportunity for me to show the world who I was.
Do you think
every man, every wrestler wants that opportunity. So I'm very lucky. The 30 for 30 did it, but I anticipate this to be just as good.
Do you think when everybody's seen every episode of Evil that Ric Flair will be the most evil of them all?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident with that. I'm pretty confident with it.
I am too, believe me. Now, a couple things happening.
But it's only because I had a lot more practice. Does that make sense?
I think I don't know that had much to do with it. I think I think everybody at their most evil isn't as evil as Ric Flair.
No, I've got 4 wives that agree with you. Where are you? I don't know. Be a Ric Flair.
Well, that's a full-time job. Now,
you better own me. You should know.
Oh, I know. Oh, believe me, I've eavesdropped on a few of those calls. In fact, I seem to recall you putting me on the phone briefly with wife number 2 in the middle of one of those.
Yeah, I sure did. Where is he?
I don't know. It was right here a minute ago. Uh,
Uh,